On the other hand, Lucy's also conforming to stereotype, because when she says look after Ben and Amy, it's linking to the fact that outside of this narrative, that she has children, and caring for children is a traditional stereotypical role for a woman. Yeah, as well as character perception, my short film also follows some basic narrative structures of films, normally feature length. The equilibrium is suggested in this film through their dialogue and their clothing, representing the fact that they do have a life outside of this narrative, and that before that their life was relatively quite normal, well, at least normal for them. It has a disequilibrium, which is the decision that Reese has to make. It changes everything, and once that decision's made, it can't go back, which is sort of the resolution. Kathy's death is the resolution to the end, because after it, both Lucy and Reese can return to normality, but life can't turn back to the way it was previously. It also has basic things like action and enigma codes, despite the fact it's only 2 minutes long. An example is who is Lance, who's the voiceover at the beginning. Nobody ever finds out. It's a mystery to the end. It's a question that's not answered. Who is Kathy and Lucy to Reese? Those questions are sort of linked to in the piece, and it's up really to the audience to make up their own interpretation. Though it's quite clear by Kathy's mother taught me that line, that Kathy and Reese are related. Lucy's bond with Reese is never that strong. It could be suggested and interpreted in a variety of different ways. The genre. It does conform to the horror genre. It's more the psychological torture of the horror genre, which is more popular, coming from like the 1990s. Reese is making the decision, and Lucy's guilty, and those are psychological triggers and are often used to unsettle the audience, but also to make them really consider life. And it doesn't conform to the horror genre in the sense of gore or blood or any of those factors, because Kathy's death doesn't actually happen on screen. It's just symbolised by the sound of the trapdoor when Reese blinks. Vulnerable characters is also a common feature of the horror genre. Kathy, though it's not explicit, she's often quite suggested to be quite a vulnerable character. Her mental state could possibly come into question. The fact that she's exceedingly calm when in this danger, and the fact that she seems highly unsociable and just doesn't quite know how to react to her own people, could suggest that there's something underlying. And the fact that Reese is incessantly protecting her, more than is a brother-sister relationship. He seems to have to look out for her, as if he's afraid of what she might do otherwise. It's a sort of trait of the horror genre, the gothic. It's an isolated location, it's empty, there's no one around, it's dangerous, it's cold, it's callous, it's no personal belongings, which is quite horrific. It also conforms to the social genre. There's a difficult relationship between Kathy and Reese. Reese is overbearingly protective of Kathy, and Kathy doesn't seem to understand or want this love from Reese. It's also a common relationship, though, again, like all narratives, is taken to the extreme. Lucy's marriage, though it's never really shown, it's signified by her ring and her 2 children. That's a common factor in the majority of people's lives. Choosing between family and friends, it's a decision that most people make on an everyday basis, but not normally in the extreme, but it sort of shows the positives and negatives of making all decisions, and how they should be considered throughout your life. Camera shots, it uses standard camera shots that you'd expect to represent certain things. The close-ups of both Kathy, Lucy and Reese, show the fear and tension, and the fact that they're that close up shows that it's an unnatural closeness and an unnatural surrounding that they are in, as traditionally you wouldn't see perceptions of people that close. The fact that Lucy is crying and screaming through most of them makes it more unsettling and disturbing for the audience. The dim lighting is a convention for horror. It's maintained throughout. The darkness is equaling uncertainty, but there's a bright light in the room, and it sort of reinforces the tension, surprise and the unexpected.